Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, gone are the days of riding and playing with Jimmy and Tom. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, gone are the days of living and being with Daddy and Mom. They have the old records of Hoppy and Gene. They've got that country feeling, you know what I mean. Every time
Hello, welcome to It Takes a Village. What's in Santa Barbara? Who's in Santa Barbara? What do we need? Today we're delighted. We have a very special guest. We have Minette, and you could say your last name. Riordan, yay! So, I'm going to ask a couple questions. So, what primary activity do you find yourself engaged in?
So I love this question, Bonnie, and it's really hard to choose one. So I really have three primary activities I'm engaged in, all of them full-time.
Yes.
One is raising my two amazing teenagers,
that's
building my business, the Path to Profit Academy, and painting. I spend a lot of time painting.
Oh, how wonderful, wonderful. We're at her home, and it is a beautiful, colorful, great place.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thanks.
But you've also opened a door. What kind of business exactly are you up to?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the Path to Profit Academy is all about helping creative entrepreneurs to manage their bright, shiny ideas so they can make consistent profit in their business. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love what I do. And I had that business where I was working really hard and didn't feel like I had anything to show for it. And I'd love to really help other people avoid some of the same mistakes that I made the first time around.
Wow. What I do know of you is that I've heard you travel quite a bit around USA, and you speak at a lot of events or something, right?
I do. I love to speak. Out of all of the sort of marketing activities and educational activities I do to grow my business, speaking is by far my favorite.
Wow, that's great. And I think you know someone who helps people be better speakers, I bet.
I do. Here locally, Lisa Braithwaite is an awesome coach for speakers.
Yeah. I've heard that. That's fabulous.
Yeah, she'd be a fun guest. Excuse me, for your show. Yes, absolutely.
That's interesting. When did you come to Santa Barbara?
We've been here just over 4 years. We moved here in the summer of 2012.
Wow. So that's not terribly long, huh? Where did you move from?
We moved here from the Dallas, Texas area.
Oh, wow.
And I still feel like a newbie. I still feel like I'm finding my way, meeting people, falling in love every day all over again.
It's a wonderful city, isn't it?
It is a wonderful city.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Where maybe were you born exactly?
I was born on an Air Force base in Big Spring, Texas, which is up in the Panhandle, middle of nowhere.
I can't decipher much of an accent for you.
No. So I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a native Texan and never had a big accent. People from sort of central South Texas often don't. But also I studied languages. My doctorate is in Spanish. Have traveled and lived in a lot of different places and just disappeared at some point along the way.
Great. Yeah. Wow, that's exciting.
I do say y'all though, Bonnie.
Yeah, y'all.
I do. I love y'all. It's a great word.
There's another thing like have a good evening, they say at noontime almost or something.
Yes, it seems like it. It seems like it. I think our favorite Texasism though is the word jeet.
Never heard of it.
And did you eat?
Wow.
Jeet?
Oh, that's hysterical. I love it. Okay, what were some of your thoughts about Santa Barbara or some of your first impressions?
So we came here the first time for Christmas, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And I'll never forget being at Ledbetter Beach the day after Christmas, my children on their boogie boards for the first time ever at Christmas time, playing in the water and just having a blast and the look of pure joy on their faces. And I still... And then when my brother got married, they had a big barbecue after at Ledbetter Beach. So Ledbetter Beach is one of those places where just driving up there evokes a lot of memories.
It's so fun. Yeah. So do you have a brother who lives
here?
I
do. I have a brother and a sister-in-law and a fabulous 6-year-old nephew who live not too far from you on the Mesa.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, that's a motivation.
It was a big part of the motivation.
That's
That and the
great.
beach. Yeah.
Oh, I love Ledbetter, and really close there is Shoreline.
Yes.
What I love about Shoreline is sit and watch the dogs.
Yeah.
That's
the dogs
amazing.
and the whales.
Yeah,
and
it's
the birds
just really peaceful.
and the
Yeah.
people. I mean, there's
Yeah.
one of the best parts about living in Santa Barbara is the people watching.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
from the tourists to
Yes.
the community at large.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I know in the cafe in Lazy Acres, if you end up there, you're seeing all kinds of special people.
Yes,
kind of.
I
It's
love that
neat.
cafe.
Yeah.
Yes, I love coffee. I'm a bit of a coffee addict, and Lazy Acres
Yes,
has good coffee.
I can drink to that. Let's see. Tell me a little history about yourself. What went on from a younger age?
So where to start? So I grew up in a small community called Hill Country Village outside of San Antonio, Texas. We had 2 acres. We had a big old horse named Blackie. I love horses, so I grew up riding Blackie around the neighborhood, pigtails
Oh,
flying.
how fun.
And my parents raised dogs. We raised German short-haired pointers, so we had kennels and fond memories of litters of puppies and pictures of my brother and I covered in litters of puppies.
Oh, how
and
fun. Oh,
so I would
wow.
say that animals have always played
Yeah.
a role in our life growing up. Plus my father and his father manufactured carnival rides. Merry-go-rounds
interesting.
and small Ferris wheels
Uh-huh.
and kiddie rides. And so we spent a lot of
Amazing.
time in their shop
Uh-huh.
or on different carnival lots around a lot of rides. So those were
Neat,
some of my
neat.
fun things about growing up.
Wow. I love horses too. 1,000,000 years ago and 100 pounds ago, I trained for the Olympic hunter.
Oh, wow.
And horses. I think as a child, people that don't know horses very well think they're very kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But I think people that know horses, learn that they have this kind of communication that is there.
Definitely.
And that really ups
Yeah.
the fondness. What a great history. Wow. Were there any decisions that you made around the age of 14 that led toward a constructive path in your life?
I love that question. It's such a fun question, and it took me a couple of minutes to think back, but it was about that time that I got the opportunity to go to Peru. And so
Wow.
in the summer after my freshman year in high school, I went on an exchange program through the YMCA in San Antonio, Texas, and Lima, Peru.
Wow.
And spent about a month traveling around Peru with a group of kids. And that set me on the path, going all the way through college and grad school to getting a doctorate in Spanish, and just being an absolute fan and advocate of everything Latin American culture,
neat.
poetry, food, music especially.
Wow, how fun. So, when you were actually in Peru, you were really listening to the language and starting to like it and everything.
Yeah.
That's amazing. This question always seems to evoke a very unique aspect about people.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on at 14, but it seems
It's a magical age.
it seems like something goes on about that age.
I'm a mother of a 14-year-old right now, right? And she's
Wow.
just starting her first year in high school. Both my kids are at Dos Pueblos High School, and it's just amazing to watch what's changing and just the level of thoughtfulness about themselves and their life and their community at large. So I think it's a time when kids are really poised for looking at what's going to anchor their future, right? So even though Latin American culture anchored my future in a lot of ways, it wasn't the career path I ended up choosing. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
but it had a lasting impact for sure. Yeah.
You know, I was at Association of Women in Communication, and I saw your stunningly beautiful daughter, and I think there was a speaker on ecology and things, and your daughter was interested in her work.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, she's pretty bright
event.
and,
Yeah.
and pretty fearless. I
Yes.
wish I'd had a tenth of her confidence at that
Uh-huh.
age. You know, it's something I had to work really hard to get to the point where I am now. And I see both my kids really comfortable in community and in public speaking and traits
That's
that
amazing.
every kid should have.
Yeah.
And so it's been amazing to watch her. She actually stood up at my Leads Club recently and asked for donations for the band, for the marching band at Dos Pueblos. So I was really proud of her. Yeah.
Asking for donations is really something. I'm starting to work with Ed Fuller, and he's running, and I'm trying to learn about fundraising, and it's kind of hard.
It's just sales,
But, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's showing
Yeah.
how people can really connect with the impact of what they invest in, right? I think at some deep level we're all called to have an impact on the world, to leave a legacy, to do something different. And so helping people understand how when they donate to an organization, it's creating that impact, and it creates this amazingly beautiful ripple effect. So it's finding the people who are passionate about the cause.
Yeah, because you really are instilling values when you support a certain person.
You are.
And it is really valuable. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Okay, let's see. Are there any physical locations in Santa Barbara that are particularly significant to you? You said Ledbetter.
That's one.
Shoreline, and it's awesome.
That's one, but I would also say, and it's in Santa Barbara County, but we live in Goleta.
Sure.
And Haskell's Beach is our favorite space. It's less than 2 miles from our house. So we spend a lot of time walking, exploring, and what I learned from living near the beach for the first time in my life is that it changes constantly. And it's really beautiful to watch. We never know when we go what we're going to see, whether it's going to be the dolphins or the whales or these funny little blue, I can't remember what they're called, but they're these little creatures. And every once in a while they end up hundreds of them on the beach. They have the word sail in their name, and they're these little flat discs with these little blue sails on them. So and
they could appear.
They could appear, and then all of a sudden you see them floating in the water. We'll see the sea slugs and sea hares, and we had an amazing octopus encounter a couple of months ago with a little tiny baby octopus that was right up. It was low tide in the tide pools. We sat there for 20 minutes, and it would swim into a crevice and disappear, and then it would come out and move and push up against a rock and disappear. It was the most amazing experience, and to have that opportunity for myself and my kids and my husband to just witness the change and the connection with nature in ways that we didn't get when we lived in, Cementville in Texas.
Well, I think it's so important, or I think there's really a therapeutic or really meaningful thing about children and nature. Somehow I feel like nature teaches us, what is the essence of what's important. And I guess I also get a sense there's something spiritual about it, that kind of a numinous feeling. That's really beautiful.
Good word for it, and just impermanence, right? If we were to talk about Buddhist philosophy, it's impermanence, and the constant change of the tides and the movement of the sand and the things that appear. One day we saw not one but 2 whole loaves of bread on the beach, like out of a package, beautifully fresh baked bread. It was like talking about manna from heaven, right? So it's like the crazy things that we see see there. It's just it's a beautiful reminder.
Right. I know I love Buddhism too. I participate in the Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, and they chant pretty constantly Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and you can get in a really serene state that helps. Okay, let's see. Have you met any interesting people around here?
So many. I have met so many interesting people in the short time that we've been here. And you mentioned earlier, so how you and I met was through the Association of Women in Communications. And through that organization, I've had the honor and privilege to meet some amazing speakers and local activists and superstars. And one of the most fun people I met isn't from Santa Barbara, but we brought her here to speak. She's a comedian from Los Angeles named Sandra Singh Ho, and she's written a couple of books, and she came in and did a presentation. And she was so funny, and she said something that so resonated with me and has stuck with me since the couple of years I saw her speak, which is whenever you go to Starbucks in Santa Barbara, and you're in line waiting for your coffee, everyone around you is going, "Oh, I live in Santa Barbara. Oh, I live in Santa Barbara." And that we all have these crazy stars in our eyes.
Funny.
And it's how I feel about living in Santa Barbara, is that everyone I meet and that everyone that I witness here loves living here and is so passionate about living here. I've never lived any place where people cared so deeply about the place itself.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I remember even when I was younger, people would say, they wouldn't say it, but it was almost like, you don't need to do anything. You were born in Santa Barbara. But we have to remind ourselves, maybe we should do some things here. Yeah, that's really true. Let's see. Are there, and also that Women in Communication is just an astonishing group. We had that recent thing at the Alpha Sale with those caps.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was, wow.
Yeah,
I know
the
all the
Association
work.
for Women in Communication has a Women of Achievement luncheon every
Right,
year.
right.
And who I've met through that has been really amazing as well, being at those
right,
luncheons. But
right.
yes, Lois Capps and Lois Phillips were our recent honorees.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And who was the year before? It was
Sigrid Wright.
right.
And I'm going to forget her name now that you're going to ask me on TV.
I know.
Marilyn Tam.
That's it. That's
Yes.
the name I was trying to
Marilyn
think
Tam.
of. Amazing person.
Both of them.
Yeah,
Amazing
yeah.
person. Yeah.
Well, that's a really
Amazing
exciting
people.
group because when I joined it, and I think it was through Lisa Engel probably, I was just amazed at how confident and fun it was as a group. Just amazing how you would go to it. Sometimes you're tired, you've been doing all this stuff, I don't want to go. And you go there and you get infused with all this happy energy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
It's a
group.
great community of women.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I ask you, are there any special resources in Santa Barbara that you think few people know about?
That
That's
few
a hard
people
one,
know
huh?
about. It is a hard one, and I'm not sure that.
You know what I think of offhand, but I don't think it still exists, maybe. I remember there was a place in Goleta where they would record books for people that were blind and everything. That was an amazing resource. I don't know if that's still there.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But there's lots going on, that's for sure.
There are. I don't think people always know that we have a really amazing art store downtown. Right, that people tend to come out here and go to Michael's, but Art Essentials downtown is a real art store with yes.
What's the address?
It's on Victoria. So Victoria in State, but on the mountainside. Yeah, so it's at the north side of Victoria. Yeah. East.
Great.
4 years, and I'm still trying to figure out my directions.
Yeah.
The way
Santa Barbara's really strange because I think California is at north-south coast, and then we have an east-west.
Yeah.
It's
tricky.
I always look at Figueroa and say that's supposed to be north.
Yes. The 101 is supposed to be north, but it's really not.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you have any occupation here, what would it be?
The one I have.
You love it.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. My husband quit his full-time job this year to come work with me full-time. So our life is pretty spectacular right now. We live in this beautiful community.
Yeah. Beautiful house.
Yes,
wow.
Thanks.
Neat. You really like color a lot, don't
I
you?
do.
Yeah.
I do.
That's so
I like
special.
color on me.
Yes,
I like color
in the
around
house,
me.
artwork.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you could sit on a bench in Shoreline Park and have a chat with anyone, who might it be?
I thought about that question ahead of time, and you already mentioned her. It's Lois Capp.
Really?
Yes, because having met her
She's
at that
amazing.
luncheon in June, her whole story is so fascinating. The point she's at in her life and transitioning out of Congress is really fascinating. Her commitment to family and to community and to the environment, that I think there's some amazing stories there. And I was really touched by not only her strength and her intelligence, but her compassion as well. And so I could sit for a long time with her.
Right.
Yeah.
At that meeting when she was speaking, I was astonished of the kind of spirit and uniqueness, because you kind of think of she was the wife of the congressman or something, but boy, does she have a special spirit of her own.
She did, fully stepped into that. And so, what a gift to our community, and sad to see her passing on. So big shoes to fill for the next person.
Right. Let's see. If you had an extra $1 million you wanted to donate to a Santa Barbara charity, who would receive it?
So probably the Santa Barbara Art Foundation, especially for the Student Art Fund. So I am passionate about keeping art in the schools, and the teachers are so often, I am a school teacher from a long time back, they're buying their own school supplies, their own art supplies. And when the kids were at Goleta Valley, the art teacher was begging for donations not begging, I shouldn't say he was begging, but he was asking.
Sure.
Right? And so the fact that and so it would go there, and also to music as well. My kids are both musicians, and I know firsthand the research has been done and how it's impacted myself and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
If kids aren't connected creatively, they're not going to be successful in math and science and English and all the STEM research that's happening everywhere as well. So yeah, I would happily donate $1 million to support arts and music in Santa Barbara.
What a nice idea. I know I've heard therapists say that with their clients, if they have a particular artistic talent and they aren't using it, they feel that it comes back and bites them, and it's a really important thing to enact and get out there in the world.
It's kind of what happened to me, right? You know, along the path. So I owned a publishing company in Texas for 11 years. I had a parenting magazine. I didn't write for my own magazine. I wasn't doing anything really creative other than the layout of the design of the magazine. Eventually that got passed off to a graphic designer. And 5 years or so ago, I realized that I needed more creative expression. And I started doodling and I started drawing, and that led to painting. And then I realized if I didn't bring that creative play into my work, that I was going to be bored really quickly, and that I couldn't do the things that I needed to do. So the way that I teach business building is through creativity, through color, through adding elements of creative play. One of the ladies we interviewed recently for our podcast talked about how she uses color sparkly gel pens to write her budget every month. So it's adding elements of creativity to everything that you're doing, especially for those of us that are super creative and tend to not like to focus and do some of the hard parts of our business. If we can make it visual and colorful, we're way more likely to do it.
Wow, that's really creative. I've never heard anything. That's really a fun thing. Wow, well, we're kind of winding down on this, and boy, are you an exciting resource for Santa Barbara.
Thank you.
Let's see. Any questions that I've missed or things you'd like to add?
Any questions that you... So what would I like to share with people? I wonder how often people really take advantage of being outside here. And I have to be really intentional about getting to the beach or getting to Elwood to walk the bluffs or getting downtown to connect, or the Zazita Trail is really close to us. And I talk to people that live here and haven't been to the beach in months and sometimes even years. And I loved what you said at the beginning about our connection to nature. And I think that my business has been successful here because it's created opportunities for me to be outside, to be more creative, to talk to different kinds of people. One of the most fun parts about living in Santa Barbara is the diversity of the entrepreneurial community. There's a lot of startups here, a lot of different types of businesses, and having Pacifica here and UCSB here, that there's just lively dialogue happening in a lot of different places. Association for Women in Communications is just one. We go to the Unitarian Society. Those dialogues that are happening there are really amazing and impressive. So I would say figuring out how to make sure that you're really taking advantage of this incredible place that we live in.
I know Pacifica is going to have a 3-day seminar about peace in our world, and it's free, you know, which is really amazing. And I think that's something people should really get in touch with. So Minette, I was also wondering, what do you think is needed in Santa Barbara that perhaps we don't have?
So one of the things for me personally that's missing in a place where we have so many opportunities to learn and grow is more art education for adults. I think it's really important for us to be able to connect to our creativity. And there used to be a really fun place called Knit Fit. That it was on Carrillo for a while, and you could go in and just sit and play and take classes.
Wow.
And City College has some amazing offerings and programs, but they're all during the day. They are targeted at the retired community, not at busy working moms like myself. So I would love to see more encouragement, support, and opportunities for connecting with crafts and with art and fun things like that to remind us of the importance of creativity and play in our lives.
Great, great. Wonderful. I could see that as being really valuable. Well, this has really been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I want to remind you that this is Santa Barbara. We have fabulous resources. But remember, every night in Santa Barbara, children go to bed hungry. Let's not let that happen. It's our village. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Bonnie from It Takes a Village. We're here on Ortega and Santa Barbara Street. What have we discovered? It's a Steve Nipper company. Let's go in and check it out. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Bonnie. I'm great. Thanks for stopping in today.
All right. What's going on around here?
Well, we're here at Soul Wave, where we make people's water better.
All right. And I'll say that you have a pretty good reputation in this town. How did you earn that?
Well, with 23 years of service to the community and doing a good job and standing behind what we do, that's what we've earned.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you, Bonnie, for helping us support It Takes a Village. We couldn't be happier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care. And so we learned more about Santa Barbara. We have a company that helps the economy of people because of their prices, and they help your good health with good water. Very, very important. Thank you, Steve Nipper at Soul Wave.
Hi, I'm Chris Jensen from Jen's Guitar and Music Company, and I'm proud to sponsor It Takes a Village. And just so you know where we are, here's my card.
They're playing with Jimmy and Tom. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, gone all over the base. Living and being with Daddy and Mom. They have your records of Hoppy and Gene. They've got that country feeling, you know what I mean. Every time I hear them.
I've really enjoyed my membership in the Association for Women in Communications. I find the women-to-woman support and empowerment really mean a lot to me.
When you want to be a good communicator, as much as we like to express ourselves and talk, and whether that's through writing or through verbal, sometimes you just need support and you need camaraderie. And being part of Women in Communications has been a key part of me building that network of like-minded individuals, and I like to call it kind of my mothership of people who get me.
I always used to say Women in Communications was a safe place to go. You could ask any question of anybody and they would give you the answer. And nobody worried about giving you time of day. It was different than other professional organizations. You could really be yourself at Women in Communications.
The women that I've connected with, everywhere women are open and friendly and interested and interesting and talented, and the diversity of talents is fascinating.
AWC has given me leadership opportunities that I otherwise wouldn't have had at my university, and a chance to kind of make a difference in